Let me say this to any politician who might be listening. It is definitely not appropriate to do physical intimidation and to take over the Capitol building under any normal situation I can think of. But this isn't normal. It's not normal. The way the public is viewing this election, half of them anyway, is not like any time before. At least no time I can remember in my memory. Maybe in ancient history. But this isn't like normal times. You need an extraordinary solution to an extraordinary situation. And I think that giving our government a tap on the shoulder, and that's what I would call these protests. These protests were not to kill anybody, not to capture anybody. They're not trying to take anybody, hostage. Nothing like that was happening. This was a tap on the shoulder. Let me put it to you this way. Let me give you a little story. Imagine a president, doesn't matter what president, you could use Biden for this example. Imagine President Biden, he's sitting in the Oval Office, and there's an issue, and it comes to him, and it's on a piece of paper, and he reads it, and he goes, okay, here's the argument against it, not too interested, yeah, seems like a problem, but I got other things to do, puts it down. That's it. That's all you got. He saw the problem, he didn't do anything about it. Now imagine that the very person who is most affected by whatever this problem is standing in the Oval Office with him and literally puts his hand on his shoulder, on the president's shoulder, and says to him, look, Mr. President, let's say it's Biden for this example, look, Mr. President, hand on shoulder. I need you to take this more seriously. I know you think the election was fair, but just understand that I and 70 plus million people don't. That by itself is a problem. We don't, it's not just a question of what the votes were or were not. The problem is half of us don't believe it. Hand on the shoulder. You need to stop what you're doing. I don't know what this other stuff is on your desk, but Mr. President, hand on shoulder, you need to stop that other stuff. You need to only work on this. This is our top priority. Now, what does Biden do in that situation? Does he respond exactly the same way as he did when he read it on a piece of paper and thought he had other things to do? Nope. Nope. This protest is the people of the United States standing in the Oval Office, figuratively speaking, not literally, with their hand on the president's shoulder, telling the president what our priorities are. Because apparently they don't understand. This isn't a passing phase. This is the fundamental fabric of the United States. And you fucked up. You fucked up, Mr. President, Mr. President Trump. You blew this. There were better ways to handle this. Congress, absolutely disgusting. You fucked up. Totally. Local governments, I don't know what the pluses and the minuses are in the local stuff, but certainly in the key battleground states, you fucked up. You fucked up big. And if you keep insulting us by telling us the fuck up wasn't that big, I want to tell you as clearly as you can hear this, we're going to be back in the Oval Office. We're going to put our hand on your shoulder again. And we're going to remind you, this is our fucking top priority. Anything you're doing that isn't, national defense, this is your fucking top priority. Not to change the election, necessarily. Not to put Trump in office and get rid of Biden. That's not the top priority. The top priority is stop fucking with us about the basic nature of the fucking Constitution, which is we need a little bit of credibility. We need a little bit of comfort. We need a little bit of feeling like the fucking government cares about the fucking people. And if that requires visiting your fucking house, guess what? The Capitol isn't your fucking house. It's our fucking house. If I go to your real house, well, that's on me. I don't want to go to your real house. Like, if you live in the suburbs, you're a politician, I'm not going to go mess with your family, your situation. That's way out of bounds. But the Capitol, that's our fucking house. If you fuck with us in our fucking house, we're going to visit you. But we're not going to kill you. We're not going to capture you. We're not going to blackmail you. We're going to put a hand on your shoulder. And we're going to remind you where your priorities are. And if you forget, we're going to come back to your fucking house. Because it's our fucking house. And we're going to remind you again. This isn't going to go away. The next election better be fucking better. Transparent, better be auditable. If I hear again that I can't see the software on our voting machines, or at least they can't be audited by people who know what they're doing, absolutely unacceptable. So let's plan today that if our next election does not have these obvious problems fixed, we'll be back in the Capitol. Literally, physically, back in the Capitol. With a hand on the president's shoulder, by analogy, not literally, just reminding him what the fucking priorities are. Do you know who understood it? Trump. Trump understood it. There are allegations that do have weight, in my opinion, in the sense that nobody has debunked them yet. Courts have not. Nobody else has that I know of. So let's get to the bottom of this, people, or we will visit again. We will visit the Capitol again. Fucking fix it. And let me say as clearly as possible, all of this is caused by fake news. If we had a real press, all of these issues would have been worked out through the press, and we would have a completely different feeling about what our situation is now. But because we don't have a real press, and they say things such as, pro-Trump mob stormed site after president's call to arms, that never happened. There was no call to arms. Literally the opposite was true. If you don't have a free press that is on your side, and the free press is not, they're definitely not on your side as a citizen, you don't really have a system that works. And the free press has this special quality that they can blame Trump for whatever problems they caused, such as division within the country would be the obvious one. They can blame somebody else and they can sell it. And a lot of people bought it. Half of the country bought what the fake news was selling. And if we don't fix that, probably doesn't matter what else you do fix. If you don't fix the news, the citizens will be bouncing around like idiots because they won't know what's true. And that was true. That's what happened this year. 2020 is what you get. I mean, the coronavirus was a special problem. But 2020 with its craziness is what you get when you don't have a free press. Oh, an honest free press. And we don't have that. That's the basic problem is the fake news. You take that away, I don't believe the Capitol would have been stormed. I don't. By the way, I think all of you know, if you're watching this, that I'm going to be taking quite a bit of heat today. You know that, right? Because I'm not supposed to go in public and say anything positive about the protesters. I believe I will have to be punished for that. But before that happens, and if this is the last day you see me on social media, I suppose anything's possible. Let me say again, fuck you to every one of you who thinks that this wasn't appropriate to put a little pressure on the government. This was the most appropriate, probably the most appropriate thing I've ever seen the citizens do. I am completely proud of the citizens who are doing this. Completely. Now, for the children and the idiots, let me clarify again that I'm not in favor of violence and destruction. So that part's all bad. Was that good for the idiots? If you're an idiot or a child, do I need to explain that to you more? It's okay to be opposed to the bad parts and favor the good parts. I know a lot of people can't understand that. That's a little complicated. You can't have a complicated opinion, but my regular viewers, I think, can handle that well.